is CBS.
Paul Train in Los Angeles. We'll be back with a live report as the Mavericks get ready to play Game 7 against the Lakers tomorrow.
In other sports news, the Dorsett deal to Denver is done.
New concerns about a fundraising brochure that uses pictures of missing children.
Stay with us. The news is next.
Experts claim kids aren't learning. Johnson, when was the Battle of 1812?
1776.
But when it comes to more relevant subjects like nacho cheese Doritos, Williams.
Great nacho cheese flavor.
Davis.
That one-of-a-kind Doritos crunch.
Miss Gardner.
It's America's favorite snack chip.
Review. Cheese, onion, tomato. Johnson, what are you doing?
Research?
Excellent.
Nacho cheese flavored Doritos brand tortilla chips. They taste as good as they crunch.
It's 90 degrees, you're stuck in traffic, and your engine starts to overheat. Now, what's the first thing you're supposed to do? Turn off the air conditioner. Nice. I only want the air conditioner when it's hot. Now, I use Peak for boil-over protection up to 263 degrees. Peak beats the heat, so my car stays cool, I stay cool. Naturally, you've noticed that.
Available at your local Minyard food store, Sack and Save, Montgomery Ward Auto Express, and Wins.
Here's what leading automotive magazines have said about the Suzuki Samurai. We gave the Samurai good points for maneuverability, engine performance, and chassis balance. The Samurai's dependability has been quite impressive. The Samurai's turning ability is steady and responsive. If you want a rugged four-wheel driver for the minimum amount of money, the Samurai is the only game in town. In the past 17 years, over 500,000 Suzuki 4x4s have been sold in over 100 countries.
From KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth. Steve Bosch, Clarice Tinsley, Larry Dingmore in the weather station, and Ted Dawson on sports. This is Channel 4 News, the 10 o'clock report.
Good evening, everyone. Some area motorists have been handed a brochure that featured the picture of a local girl who was missing.
It also advertises products for sale, and that fact bothers some people. Channel 4's Don Johnson has the story.
Last month, the American Foundation for Missing Children and Addison Corporation began distributing this flyer, which carried the picture of Roxanne Reyes, the Garland girl whose skeletal remains were found May 24th. Inside the flyer were advertisements for gift certificates from dozens of businesses offered in return for the advertising. The gift certificates were to be sold by bid to the public, with some but not all proceeds going to Operation Lookout, a nonprofit organization dedicated to finding missing children. Paul Bailey says the use of Roxanne's picture was a badly timed coincidence, and that's why his company pulled the flyer off the street after only a few days.
It was bad timing. Under any other condition, the flyer would have probably been good.
Bailey says the corporation's name was also changed to reduce confusion about it being a charity. Although some of the businesses in the flyer told Channel 4 News they thought they were dealing with a charity, Bailey says he's always made it clear he is a for-profit corporation, spelling it out in thank you letters to contributors. Bailey says so far no business has asked their gift certificate be returned because the business felt it had been misled. Bailey says he lost thousands of dollars on the flyer, but is now processing a directory with similar ads, a publication which he says could bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, 30% of which will go to Operation Lookout. Operation Lookout officials agree that Bailey has always presented himself as a for-profit corporation, and in their view, he truly wants to help find missing children. That's why they say they allowed Bailey to use pictures of Roxanne and other missing children and its letterhead. Lookout can use those pictures without the permission of the families, something Tamala Reyes accepts, but in this case does not like.
I don't think any child's picture should be used to sell anything. You know, if someone wants to make a donation to an organization to help find them, that's fine. But to go out and sell something,
And what about Laura Proctor, whose own missing daughter was found dead several weeks before the Reyes child?
He has the right to make money. I'm glad he's getting more pictures out there. We need that. The photo distribution has to continue and has to be in all kinds of places. The only thing concern that I have that I wouldn't want to see is it for it to really be exploited.
There's no way in your view that this is exploiting these kids?
No, sir. This will help locate children.
If the pictures prove objectionable, Bailey says he'll remove them from his directory because he is confident it will sell even without those pictures. Don Johnson, Channel 4 News.
There was more conflicting and confusing testimony today at the capital murder trial of 16-year-old Greg Knighton. One weapons expert testified he could not positively match the bullet from George Rayfield's body to Knighton's gun, but also said he could not rule out the connection. Another expert said the two did match. Friend Jay Little then told jurors he heard Knighton admit to killing Rayfield, but also testified he was high on drugs the night of the confession and didn't remember much. On Monday, some of the confusion could be cleared up when 17-year-old Richard Gigline takes the stand. Gigline and Knighton were the only two people at the shooting. Mark Reeves, the man police believe is the Dapper Bandit, today was indicted for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. When Reeves was arrested, police said he used the stolen car in the latest bank robbery. And Gennaro Camacho has been indicted on a murder charge. He is suspected of kidnapping Evelyn Banks and her young son after killing David Wilburn last month. Banks and her son are still missing, and Camacho has not been found. Clarice?
Steve, a West Texas oil company exploded today south of Lubbock, forcing the evacuation of several people and giving firefighters a scare. For a while, workers on the scene in Lamesa feared the fire at the Everhart Oil Company would spread to nearby natural gas tanks. The flames were held under control, and only an Everhart warehouse and storage area were destroyed. The Everhart owner and his son suffered minor injuries from the blast. A bomb scare at the Seattle-Tacoma airport today. An artillery shell dropped out of a bicycle box being unloaded from a plane. Part of the airport was evacuated, and authorities took the shell to a concrete bomb bunker. There, they determined it was a war relic being carried home by a student from a European bicycle trip. It was not immediately known whether the shell was capable of exploding. It did not explode. The safety of America's airplanes has been examined at a 3-day conference sponsored by the Federal Aviation Administration.
The aircraft design and maintenance experts have come up with ways to improve the quality of older airplanes. Channel 4's Phil Alvarado reports from Washington.
The FAA conference was a direct result of the Aloha Airlines accident last April. The 20-year-old 737 lost part of its roof in midair. The Washington conference attracted airline industry representatives from across the U.S. and several foreign countries. The major recommendation is to initiate research to develop better methods of detecting structural failures on older planes that go undetected by the present system. The challenge has gone out to the airline industry to adequately and to promptly address the safety questions raised by the Aloha accident. If not, the alternative could be government intervention.
The threat is there. If we do not pull together to assure the safety of aircraft, then it's certainly reasonable for Congress to step in and make those decisions for us.
Since deregulation in 1978, statistics verify that safety has continued to improve, but still there has been no firm determination of what caused the Aloha accident. As a result, other recommendations from the conference include better training for inspectors and mechanics, also an evaluation of human factors such as pressures to meet both maintenance and flight schedules. There's also a call for more specific and accurate inspection data on older airplanes.
Averages are often meaningless when the issue is the safety of any particular airplane or any particular operation.
Although in theory an aircraft can fly indefinitely with proper maintenance, the FAA says it may have to ground older aircraft when it becomes economically impractical to maintain the safety of that aircraft.
If anybody continues to operate then beyond that point in time, we might need to question whether they really are conducting the kind of an inspection program that they should be conducting.
A report on this week's conference will be distributed worldwide by the FAA. Phil Alvarado, Channel 4 News, Washington, D.C.
President Reagan is back in Washington tonight after saying goodbye to Europe. That story's next.
Also ahead, Californians say, who cares, to campaigning candidates.
Tony Dorsett says yes to the Denver Broncos.
And we'll see what the Mavs have to say in L.A.
Try out a color. Test a treatment. Sample a fragrance, all in Estee Lauder's gift to you, filled with makeup, fragrance, and treatment products, including white linen parfum spray and pressed satin eyeshadow. It's your bonus with any Estee Lauder purchase of $10 or more. So try it, test it, sample it, and be right at home with Estee Lauder. This Estee Lauder gift is yours through June 11th at Lord & Taylor.
Here's what leading automotive magazines have said about the Suzuki Samurai. We gave the Samurai good points for maneuverability, engine performance, and chassis balance. The Samurai's dependability has been quite impressive. The Samurai's turning ability is steady and responsive. If you want a rugged four-wheel driver for the minimum amount of money, the Samurai is the only game in town. In the past 17 years, over 500,000 Suzuki 4x4s have been sold in over 100 countries.
Recently, children have been victims of tragedies too terrible even for adults to face. The Kentucky church bus crash that killed 27 kids. The Illinois community terrorized by a classroom shooting. The Wyoming school firebombing that left 79 burned. When a child is too young to understand, how does a parent explain? On the next Geraldo, victims of these tragedies speak out. How can we help a child's shattered security turn to trust again? On the next Geraldo. Monday at 4 right here on Channel 4.
President Reagan is in the White House tonight after 10 days abroad in Finland, the Soviet Union, and England. Mr. Reagan's stop in London was probably his last on European soil as president, and he received a warm send-off from Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. When he and First Lady Nancy returned to Andrews Air Force Base near Washington, they got an even warmer welcome home from thousands of cheering supporters. Mr. Reagan told them the summit was not very conclusive, but was momentous. He then turned patriotic, quoting the verse of a popular song.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
The candidates for president are looking to California for the last big prize of convention delegates.
But Channel 4's Richard Ray tells us the voters aren't quite as enthusiastic.
Campaign 88 is much like the smog that hangs over downtown Los Angeles. Californians know it's there, but they're not paying it much attention. It's not for lack of effort from the candidates. Jesse Jackson in particular has spent much of the last month stumping around the state, hoping for a win that would give him added clout at the convention. But the nomination in both parties is no longer in doubt.
There's nothing to vote on anymore. You know, it's going to be Dukakis and Bush, and that's it.
There are some local issues on the ballot that have sparked some interest, but overall, pollsters are predicting the lowest percentage turnout in California history. For the first time since 1928, less than 30% of those registered are expected to vote. There's been a steady decline in citizen interest and participation here, especially among the young. Who are you voting for?
The Democrat.
Yeah, but they're both Democrats.
Well, they got to have one Republican and one Democrat. What do you mean?
Yeah, but it's a primary. They got Dukakis and Jackson running against each other on the Democratic side.
Well, who's on the other side then?
Even among the politically savvy, Tuesday's primary holds little suspense.
I don't think there's any point in even considering it. The race was won long ago. People are going to show up at the convention and it'll be all over. There's no point in these last-minute hustlings.
Clearly, Dukakis, Jackson, and Bush would disagree. But at least for now, politics is vying for attention with many more picturesque pursuits in this land of surf and sun. Richard Ray, Channel 4 News, Venice, California.
We're going to have some good Texas sunshine, huh?
Well, you remember when all this rain started, don't you? It was last Monday when I washed my car. It's dirty, and I'm not going to wash it again because we need to see some sunshine this weekend. I think we'll manage that. We'll have a complete story for the weekend weather in just a minute.
For all the reasons that Texans save, Texas Commerce Banks introduce ONE+ Super Savings, a smarter way to save, with higher interest to make more of your money, for today and tomorrow. ONE+ Super Savings, only with ONE+ Banking from Texas Commerce. It makes your money work smarter.
What do you think of the Ford Festiva? It's big. It's small. Sort of a big smallness.
Cutest little thing.
Festiva gives you features like a roomy interior, 660 powertrain warranty, sometimes even your own parking space. So it's big and small.
How about Festiva's price?
It's small.
Small.
It's nothing.
Ford Festiva. Call it big. Call it small. Call it yours for only $55.95.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Tickets for Webb.
We interrupt this purchase for a reminder.
Here we go.
There's another decision worth entertaining.
Very smart.
Choosing the card that actually pays you cash. Cash back for every charge. The Discover card.
I'm starving.
It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
You are an extremely attractive woman. Yeah. Sometimes you need glasses. Fast. Could you hold that pose for about an hour? Fifi, watch her.
Introducing Pearl Optical Express, the new superstore from Pearl where you get glasses in only 1 hour. So when you need glasses fast, there's Pearl Optical Express.
I'm back. Funny.
Couldn't have come along at a better time. Pearl Optical Express, the new superstore from Pearl at these and other convenient locations.
Well, the storm that's been bothering Texas with lots of rain for the better part of the week, much like the Dallas Mavericks, never wants to say die. As we speak, it still is trying to rain outside, though the sprinkles are very light across the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so light that our Doppler weather radar isn't picking them up. The rains are a little bit heavier, though, off to the south and the southeast from Corsicana back over towards sections of Waco, northward towards Hillsboro, and then on up into Itasca. The showers are moving to the southeast, but moving very little. So if you headed down south, most likely you'll run into some rain, so drive carefully. Here's what the whole shebang looks like from outer space across Texas. A storm, which is a spiraling mass of counterclockwise clouds that will continue to sit in East Texas, continues to produce the heaviest thunderstorms down in the southeast. With these upper level lows, usually the worst part of the storm is the southeast. That's the part that we've been seeing, but now the center of the storm is sunk so deep into Texas that it's the folks down in the southeastern part of the state that continue to see the worst of the weather. Reports of heavy weather throughout the day from San Antonio eastward. A tornado on the western end of Galveston Island earlier in the evening. No reports of any injuries. But in addition to the storm that's sitting in Texas, here comes a cold front out of the northeastern part of the country. The two shall merge, and that will mean copious rain for the weekend for the Texas coast, though we'll be out of the ballpark for those weekend rains. Meantime, the low sitting on the coast continues to give us a north wind, kind of a pleasant break from the heat, and it looks like the north winds will keep up right on into the weekend. Here's a look at the 10 o'clock temperatures, kind of getting cool in the west where skies are clear and temperatures are cooling quickly. 69 right now in Lubbock and 66 in the Davis Mountains at Marfa, with temperatures in the 70s and even some rain-cooled 60s, 68 degrees with showers in progress in the Waco area. Not all rain for us, though, today. We were over in Fort Worth, saw a little bit of kite flying out at Forest Park. George Villarreal, my old pal Jorge, took these pictures today. And as you can see, it looks like it takes a pilot's license nowadays to fly these kind of kites, not the simple things that they used to be. Back here at home, skies remain cloudy, 75 degrees, 66% humidity. The wind's out of the north at 12 and the pressure is rising. Our temperatures today range from a low of 65 to a high of 82, and we saw less than a quarter of an inch of rainfall. The record's 152 degrees. Let's have a look at the weekend, and here's what she looks like. We'll see some clouds in the morning. Now, we may see an isolated afternoon thunderstorm here in North Texas, but most of the rain's going to be along the Gulf Coast region and way out west. The rest of the country is just going to be dry as a bone. It'll be cool in the northeast, where highs will peak out in the 60s, but 90s and 100s will be the story not only in the southwest where you usually see them, but clear on up into the northern plains and Canada. Hot in the northwest, 93 tomorrow for the high in Billings, Montana, 79 in St. Louis. Rain on the way for New Orleans with a high temperature of 81 degrees. Well, our forecast will call for a few more sprinkles, it looks like, this evening, and maybe some isolated thunderstorms on into tomorrow. A low of 62, partly cloudy for Saturday with a high of 81 and north winds. Sunday ought to be pretty pleasant as well, with a high temperature of 83 degrees and partly cloudy skies. Lows should remain in the 60s, with highs warming well into the 80s for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Knock on wood or simulated wood or whatever this is, it looks like it's all over.
And we'll forgive you for driving a dirty car.
Never wash it again.
Thanks, Larry. There is no shortage of souvenir shops in the Stockyards area of Fort Worth, but Channel 4's Jack Brown reports a new one carries only one label, Made in Texas.
Despite what you may have heard, the Stockyards area is alive and well. The streets and sidewalks are still crowded with tourists who want to sample a slice of the Old West. and a lot of them want to take back some sort of reminder of the time they spent here. If they buy it at Pure D, Texas, they can be sure of one thing. It was made or grown in Texas. The owner, Joe Dooley, said that requirement is not negotiable, and he's had no problem finding enough Texas-made products to stock his store. Even his cigars, Travis Club, are made in San Antonio, and the shelves and tables are loaded with Texas pots and pans. The walls are lined with barbed wire curios, and there's Texas-made Bloody Mary mix, which fits nicely inside an armadillo booze bag. There's a stack of cookbooks, each one loaded with Texas recipes, and each one printed in Texas. The cookbooks are big sellers, but Dooley said cactus are even more popular.
We've been surprised about cactus so far, especially people from the East. I guess it's somewhat of a novelty, and it's a fairly inexpensive little gift that's unusual. Most people don't have cactus.
The store is always on the lookout for new items, preferably something unusual. But new and unusual is not enough. It still has to be made in Texas. Otherwise, it's just not up to snuff. Jack Brown, Channel 4 News.
Suppose Tony will be taking some of that stuff along with him?
I wouldn't be surprised. By the way, I didn't hear it, but apparently we're getting lots of calls that the CBS announcers during the game tonight said that Detroit would be playing the Lakers instead of the winner of the Dallas Laker game. Paul Crane may have a few things to say about that when we come back, and also we'll tell you about Tony Dorsett headed for Denver. Stay with us.
Chevy S10 invites you to own the street with the biggest engine ever offered in a compact pickup. The most V6 power and torque available in a compact truck. And a price to make your heart beat faster than ever.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck.
Comfort's coming. Train announces a revolution in comfort. The XL 1200 air conditioner. It comes with the comfort of up to 50% greater energy efficiency. The comfort of an exclusive 10-year warranty. The comfort of a specially trained serviceman who knows it well. The XL 1200 air conditioner. Get comfortable with it.
Comfort's coming from Train.
Train air conditioning. 50 million people take comfort in it.
When a business advertises in a Here Today, Gone Tomorrow yellow pages, business may be here today and gone tomorrow. The Southwestern Bell yellow pages has been serving Fort Worth for over 80 years, so call today or tomorrow. We'll be here. If you don't get your business ad in the next Fort Worth Southwestern Bell yellow pages by June 24th, well, your parts department may have plenty of time for other things.
Go fish.
Call 878-1000.
Breakfast ready.
Bacon and sausage.
Pass the bacon, please. You already had 2 slices.
Hurry up.
You'll be late for school. Thanks, Mom. Bye.
It's Sissy, just in time for lunch.
Great, smoked sausage.
Sit down, there's always plenty.
Wash up for dinner, gang.
How was school today?
Oh, we worked on the computers. And I scored a goal.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, boy, ham. Yeah.
Where'd this ham come from?
The best things come from farmland.
May I have some more, please?
Touchdown, Tony Dorsett, the man voted in 5th place by you, the fans, in a poll of the greatest Cowboys of all time, has been traded. It became official late this afternoon, ending in a tumultuous 11-year Cowboy career.
One rocket ship that has blazed dead on course is Tony Dorsett, a player who ascended to the stars in his first season.
The handoff goes to Dorsett, dances into the secondary, and heads left. The 30 comes right.
It couldn't have started much better for the 1976 Heisman Trophy winner. Drafted by the Seattle Seahawks, Tony was traded for 3 guys who were never heard from again, while Dorsett went on to rack up over 1,000 yards in his rookie year, leading the Cowboys to their 2nd Super Bowl title. But it never came easy. Off-the-field escapades made him a public relations nightmare, and Dorsett never reached the hero status accorded quarterback Roger Staubach. It all came to a head this year when Dorsett crossed the NFL strike picket lines after accusing his teammate Randy White of being a scab. And then he was benched, of course, in favor of Herschel Walker. At the end of the season, Tony wanted out.
in my opinion, you know, I just don't see Tony Dorsett's career ending like this, and I would hope the Dallas Cowboys, as a coaching staff, as management, would feel the same way. You know, I've had a pretty illustrious career, and there's still some getting left in me, and I would hope they would feel the same way and say, hey, we'll let this guy go on. You know, he's been very productive for us and helped us for many years, and now we'll just, if we have to part paths, we'll part paths, and just let him end his season the way he'd like to, or his career, should I say, the way he'd like to end it.
But it wasn't easy. Teams didn't want to pay the contract Dorsett gets for a 34-year-old running back. Negotiations with the Broncos were off and on. Meanwhile, Dorsett grumbled his way through off-season mini-camps. But today, it happened. The Denver Broncos, whose lack of a running attack helped get them ripped in last year's Super Bowl, agreed to pay Dorsett's salary, complete his multi-million-dollar annuity, and give the Cowboys a draft choice, anywhere from 1 to 5, depending on how Dorsett does for the Broncos. And with that, Tony Dorsett became a Cowboy memory.
He's a very proud person, a person that's had a lot of success from his high school days through college and with the Cowboys, and to share that success in his later years with Herschel Walker, it just didn't work. I thought maybe it might, but it didn't.
Are you going to miss him?
Yes, I'm personally going to miss him.
And what of Tom Landry, the Cowboy coach who helped orchestrate the trade that got him here, who nursed his star through 11 years, 12,000 yards, and number 3 on the NFL's all-time rushing list?
We're sort of ending an era with Tony Dorsett because he's been such a great contributor for the Cowboys, and from that standpoint, I would have loved to have seen him finish in Dallas. But I think of any place that he could go right now at this stage of his career, Denver's the best, because Danny Reeves he knows our system, he knows how to use him, and I think he'll use him effectively, and I just hope Tony ends up on a strong note.
So do we all. Meanwhile, a strong note going on in Los Angeles right now. Paul, I don't know whether you heard it or not, but apparently the CBS announcer tonight said that Detroit was going to play the Lakers in the NBA Finals. What do the Mavericks have to say about that?
Well, I think there's a reason they play the games, Ted, and we'll find that out tomorrow. You know, there have only been 4 teams in NBA history to ever come back and win a 7-game series after trailing 2 games to none. Hasn't happened since 1977, but the Mavericks are trying to become team number 5. Thus far, they are 0-3 in the Fabulous Forum in this series, 0-9 in their playoff history. And right now, they're upstairs in a closed-door meeting, and we just left them asking why they think this trip to the Forum is going to be different.
Well, we got the screaming crowd up here, I guess. You know, we had to bring it with us and just have to come on out and do the job. We haven't done it yet, but we've proven that we can beat the Lakers in this series if we play a great game, so we had to bring it on out to L.A. and do it here.
It's not going to be easy. We don't expect it to be easy, but I feel like if we can go out here and move the basketball the way we've moved the basketball in Dallas, contain their fast break, not give them the easy opportunities, keep the game close, we'll be in position to win.
We have to make our minds up that this season is either going on or it's going to stop right here, and we feel that we don't want it to be. We accomplished a lot of things the first time this season, and we want to keep accomplishing things for the rest of the year, hopefully. And
this is it for both ball clubs. Whoever loses this one's going to have the rest of the summer off, so I think we're going to have to come out and be ready. We realize they play well at home, they break well at home, and the biggest factor for us is just going to be stopping their fast break.
A little something for those looking for omens, and we can only wonder what Nancy Reagan's astrologer would think about this. Tomorrow will be 1 year to the day when the Mavericks hired John McLeod to replace Dick Motta as head coach, and things certainly have been different. Ted?
I like that, Paul. I like that little piece of trivia. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Nice job. Paul Crane live in Los Angeles. The Mavericks might as well knock off the Lakers tomorrow, since the Lakers don't have the Boston Celtics to kick around anymore. In a game we hope you watched here on Channel 4 this evening, the Detroit Pistons blew open a tight game in the third quarter and blitzed Boston 95-90. The Celtics never stopped fighting, though, coming back from a 17-point deficit, but Detroit wins the best-of-7 series 4-2. Let's turn now to baseball, where the Rangers are going for 2 in a row. Bobby Valentine watches things get going real quick. First inning, and with Scott Fletcher on second, Pete O'Brien comes up to the plate and slaps the base hit to center field. Fletcher scores. O'Brien has his 20th RBI, and the Rangers lead 1-0. Second inning, the bases are loaded for Ruben Sierra. He rips one to left field, way back. This ball is at the base of the wall. Mike Stanley scores. Jerry Brown scores. Scott Fletcher scores. Even Steve Bosch could have scored on this one. Rangers lead 4-0. Another strong outing for Ray Hayward. Just ask Dave Gallagher. See you later, Dave. See you later, Chicago. Rangers win 9-3. On the scoreboard, Oakland outslugs Minnesota while Kansas City gets by Seattle. Milwaukee puts the rip on the California Angels. New York blanks Baltimore. Toronto beats Boston 6-3. Cleveland beats Detroit 6-3. In the National League, Chicago whitewashes the Mets. Pittsburgh eases by Montreal, and St. Louis scores in the 10th to beat Philadelphia. There were 3 starts out on the West Coast. Let's go to Bentry, where Texas golfer Miller Barber had it all going his way in the first round of the Seniors Pro-Am. Nice putt here. Superb 7-under par 65 for Barber as he takes a 3-stroke lead over the field going into tomorrow's second round. That's sports. Mavericks go tomorrow. We'll be right here with all the action starting at 2:30 right here where we're for the Mavericks.
You bet.
Very good. All right, Ted, thanks. Bishop College's Board of Trustees announced plans for reorganization under Chapter 11 today. If approved, the plan will resolve Bishop's debt problem over a 10-year period. Faculty and staff members would receive 80% of back pay in a phased payment structure. Board members say this restructuring plan, along with community support, should restore Bishop College to the greatness it knew when it was founded, and that was back in 1881.
Dr. Smith, I feel that the true greatness of the city of Dallas is not predicated on whether the Mavericks are going to whip the Lakers or not, but whether they care as much for Bishop College as they care for Southern Methodist University.
If approved by the U.S. Bankruptcy Court, the plan for reorganization will go into effect August the 15th.
Still to come tonight, a look at an old American teenager keeping up with the times.
And local high schoolers moving on to another time, a new stage of life.
25,000 in cash and an 88 Honda Accord LX. Good, Taylor. You could win it all from KRLD News Radio, 1080 AM in Honda. Jim L.E. Just test drive Honda, now Motor Trend's Import Car of the Year. Honda McKinney. 25,000 in cash and a new Honda Accord LX plus $25,000 more in daily prizes. David McDavid. Simply test drive Honda and then cross your fingers. Jim McNatt. It's our second annual $25,000 cash and Accord LX giveaway. To win, see your Honda dealer and listen to KRLD News Radio, 1080 AM.
Nowadays, when it comes to telecommunications, there's a great deal of confusion. With so many different products and services available, it's a real problem knowing what's just right for your company. Well, we have a way to end that confusion and solve those problems. We can help custom tailor an entire telecommunications system to your company's exact needs. No, GTE.
When you're on the go as much as we are, you need to take good care of the family car.
You need Walmart. Walmart's automotive department features the best name brands on just what you need, like Pennzoil. The world-class protection of quality Pennzoil motor oil is just $3.97 a gallon at Walmart. So before you head out, stop at Walmart's automotive department. You want brands you can count on at a low price.
It's the only way to go.
You need Walmart.
That's the Walmart way.
So hip. Answering machine for my car phone. Foreign films, okay. My imported beer with a twist.
When you're done kidding around, Heineken.
Most people are familiar with the Archie comics. Over the years, the still popular comic has mirrored society. In the 50s, the gang gathered round a jukebox. In the 60s, they wore hip clothes and dreamed of the Beatles. The 70s saw the disco era, and now a telling sign of the times. AIDS education and just say no to drugs have made the pages of this old-time comic.
Well, before we say goodnight, we're going to check the breakfast forecast.
And it looks like for Saturday, great outdoor weather to stay indoors and watch the Mavericks. Morning clouds when you wake up and a low of 62 degrees. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too. You know, every graduation is special, but tonight in Fort Worth, Irene Davis has an extra reason to celebrate.
The senior at O.D. Wyatt High School is legally blind, but that didn't stop her from taking part in school activities and graduating tonight as one of 2 salutatorians. As we leave tonight, we congratulate Irene and all Metroplex graduates.